Hello, Angie's League. Welcome to the mid-season update. We're on week 7, or we've gone through 7 weeks. Now we're moving into week 8. Getting down to crunch time for some of the lower teams as time is running out and the playoffs are coming closer. So let's do a quick recap to see where we're at in the league and kind of get a little rundown of some moves that need to be made by certain teams and some teams that I believe that just have no chance or have the best chance. So let's get standing updates here. We've got Weezer at dead last at 1-6. Also in dead last at 1-6 is Greg. We've got then alone in 10th is Ryan Residlow, sitting at 2-5. Then there's a handful of ties here. We have Sandy, Bryce, and I can't pronounce it. Benrus. I'm not sure who that is. But they're all 3 and 4. Then we move on to the couple tied at 4 and 3, Ian and Germ, and the now trifecta at near the top here at 5 and 2 would be myself, Mike, and Ozan, and then our lone leader, our lady in black, Amanda, the Panda, who is very happy to be at the top of the league and literally shoving her dick down all of our throats. I'm sure she loves doing that so much. So anyway, let's do a quick breakdown of just like how we've got to this situation. I'm going to start looking at just like the points that have been scored. So it's kind of been a tale of, the stats aren't representing the teams necessarily this year in your records. Jeremy, who is 4 and 3, has the most points for, just barely, by only 1.5 points over Amanda, which makes sense because she's at the top of the league. She scored almost the most points. She has a dominant team. Losing Rogers is going to hurt her with Jordy, but I feel like she'll be able to make some adjustments. And I think, being 6 and 1, she's pretty much secured a playoff spot, just based off years in the past. So unless she just blows it for the last every game and finishes just 6 and 7, who knows? But Jeremy up there with highest most points scored. But then it kind of falls into almost the exact order right there. You've got Ozan, Mike, and myself for the next highest in points for. But then this is where it gets right after me. Greg with 701 points scored, and he's 1-6. I really want to look at Greg's team because nobody understands. He has 106, or he has let's see here. He has 701 points that he's scored, which is the 6th highest, which in the top half of the league. But his points against are 870 points. Now to put in comparison, the next highest person in our league is Weezer with points against, which again, why he's at the bottom too, with 783. Greg had put points up against him almost 100 more points than the next lowest person, and he's put up the 6th most points. If you want to talk about a team that doesn't reflect their record, usually be like, oh, you're 1-6, you suck dick. No, this is I was looking at this yesterday. It's outstanding on how unlucky Greg has been in getting 870 points against, and he's still the 6th highest scorer, and he's only 1-6. It's I don't know if he broke some mirrors or what the hell happened, but you need some kind of seance to get your team back on track because that is just some bad, shitty luck. And then after that, you've got Rouse and Ian, who've kind of scored right around the 690s in there, and Bryce right about 690. And then towards the bottom, you got Weezer. There's a reason he's 1-6. He's scored the least amount of points, and he's had the second amount of highest points put up against him. Meaning he has just, he's literally rolling over and just letting you tickle his belly until he just submits. This is, I'm already sizing dresses for Weezer for next season. But this is what it comes down to, and it's been a curse. You get a girlfriend or some kind of girl during fantasy football. If you had one going in before, you're fine. But if you get one during fantasy football season, it's gonna affect your performance. Huge. Look at Mike. Mike's been dating Laura for a while. Before fantasy football, he's doing great because they know how to mesh. It starts during fantasy football. I've been there. It's not a good combination. That's all I'm saying. Why do you think I'm single now again? I need to focus on fantasy football, and my record has been showing it. I've been winning, and you dump the extra weight, and you just focus on the important things in life. That's my advice to you, Weezer. So, but yeah, and then the points against, it's kind of been, you've got the lowest points against, Sandy, only 647 points against. So she's been getting some pretty favorable matchups in terms of, she's only got 3 wins, and she's been unlucky in terms of her, losing Odell and but she's scraped for some of those wins, and she hasn't had people that have put up a ton of points. I mean, when you compare that, she only has 647 points against her, whereas Greg has 870. That's a 230 point difference. That's like a solid 2 weeks of football, fantasy football points differential between the lowest and the highest. I'm right there with her. I'm at 647.8. I'm only 0.2 ahead. I've been very lucky, and I lost David Johnson, and this is how I've been graced. I think the gods knew I was going to lose Rodgers, so they wanted me to be happier at the end, like when it happens, putting me at 5-2. But then you've got the same, only a point above us is, Rouse, only 648 against. Amanda, only 679 against. Some of these top teams that are up here haven't been getting scored against a lot. It's quite remarkable to see the differential of points against in this league. It's either one or the other. And the people in the middle are, people that have decent teams. They've just been getting really unlucky. But there's a substantial line of the difference of being points against, and that just comes down to luck and matchups. I think that'll change here in the weeks coming up because of the bye weeks and injuries still racking up. So it'll be interesting to see where everything goes. And let's just go up to this week's matchups. Give some quick predictions here moving into week 8. My fucking computer loads. Come on, baby. There we go. So first off, I'll start off with my matchup. It's Residlo versus me. He still hasn't set his lineup, so who knows if he will. But, it's hard to tell because he hasn't set it up. I think he might get the win. My running back situation is just atrocious. I have no idea. I don't know how I'm doing so well. My team is not that amazing. I have a couple good players, and that's it. So I suspect that Ryan will get back on track and get a win here this week over me. Then we've got Rouse versus Ian. Again, they both still have to set their lineups, but I'm probably going to take Ian in this one. He's kind of coming into this week pretty hot. He's got pretty solid team rolling in. I like the way he's the new battle of the new guys here. That'll be a good one. Then we've got Jeremy and Bryce. I'm taking Tex straight up in this one. Just projection-wise, Tex only got 8 guys in. He's projected to outscore him by already over 10 points, and he still has to put in another dude. So unless Bryce makes some moves, I don't think Euro gets lucky. And Jeremy's team is just stacked. The amount of, and Zeke's gonna keep playing. It's ridiculous how good his running back core is. Please trade me someone. It's so good. They have Greg versus Weezer, the battle of the bad, right here. This is the matchup, and they still have to make their adjustments. Only 6 players in right now for Schleg, and 5 players in for Weez. I'm giving it to Greg. Greg has a better team. Greg has a great team compared to what he has. Weezer seems distracted. He started Gronk when he didn't play. He's got to stay up to date on his fantasy and not up to date on, women. So, just keep an eye out for that matchup. That'll be good for one of those teams to get back on track. Whoever loses that game is not going to make the playoffs. I'm telling you that right now. That's just the way it is. You don't get into the playoffs with 7 losses. Then you got Mike versus Sandy. This one actually will be pretty close. The projection is only 0.1 differential. Honestly, Mike, here's the difference between both of these teams. These teams either don't show up and they both score like 76 points, or they completely show up and they score like 130 plus. So this is going to be a huge shootout. It's literally a matter of who shows up and who doesn't. I really don't know. Like, that'll be a fun game to watch because those teams are completely bipolar. Some weeks they go crazy, some weeks they don't. And then you have Ozan versus Agamite. I think Brozan's going to win it. I just don't think I don't think Jordy's going to be enough to bounce back if she starts him again. But I suppose Packers are on a bye this week. Never mind. So yeah, I still think that I'm still going to take Ozan then, even though he did lose Rodgers. I think he'll still end up taking it, and I think if he wins it more, it'll make more for competition. So. That's kind of the updates so far. Maybe I'll pop in with another one or something before playoffs. So, best of luck, everybody, and go Packers.